教えてよ教えてよその仕組みを僕の中に誰かいるの
So, last month, the Kimetsu no Yaiba anime series, or Demon Slayer, finally reached its conclusion. Its final episode ending with a teaser for its upcoming follow-up set to be released in 2020. But instead of it being what most of us fans of this series expected to be a second season, obviously because that is the norm for most series, well, the folks at UFO Table decided to freaking toss that norm out of the window and create an entirely new one, by announcing that the continuation of this particular story will be told in the form of a film to be set in theaters. Now look, it's possible the same treatment could have been given to another anime series before. I personally don't recall any to have done it in the exact same way as Demon Slayer, but I'm no anime expert, and I surely haven't seen a lot of shows as a lot of hardcore anime viewers have, so I can only speak for myself when it comes to this, and hope that this decision that has been presented to me fairly recently becomes a new trend in the anime industry, because I think it's absolutely brilliant. In the past couple of years, more and more this concept of canonizing theatrical releases of popular anime shows has become more and more common. Of course, it was never a new thing. On the top of my head, examples such as the end of Evangelion come to mind, where the film was said to be a replacement for the last two episodes of the Neon Genesis show, portrayed as actual canon. But it clearly is more common nowadays than before. I grew up with a lot of Naruto and Dragon Ball movies being released as containing separate stories from the main storyline of those said shows, but recently movies like Battle of Gods, Naruto the Last, Resurrection of F, Boruto the movie, Dragon Ball Super Broly are all considered canon. Even the My Hero Academia movies are being treated as extensions of the main story being currently told in the anime series. That being said, what Demon Slayer is doing I think is something that even those shows really aren't. Even though popular shows such as Dragon Ball Super have now movies which are part of their main canon, for the longest time that just wasn't the case, and their individual movies were designed to be more of solo adventures for the main characters, with no serious implications on the main storylines and individual arcs than anything else. Even starting as movies, Super ended up adapting either way Resurrection of F and Battle of Gods storylines for the anime series, just like the Boruto movie's case, taking away that feeling of special treatment, the fact that those movies were special and important because not only they were canon, you had to watch them to get the full experience and you couldn't skip them. That's what those older films felt to me. I've been a massive fan of Naruto for the longest time, but to be honest, just like a lot of the anime's filler episodes, its movies were just more of that, more filler. I was never a big fan of those movies, they never really spoken to me, at least not in the same way these two have, because nothing that happened in them was consequential and emotionally impactful, because nothing that happened in those to the main characters was gonna impact their progression in the main story whatsoever. They didn't really grow, they were stuck, because or that development had already been done in the main storyline and so it felt repetitive, or it will eventually happen later on in the main story, and because of that it couldn't be done in the respective movie. And again, the new stories and characters that were introduced in those movies will never be mentioned in the anime, or have any impact later down the road for characters such as Naruto. My Hero Academia's first movie, Two Heroes, was treated as canon in line with the anime series, adding to the mythology of the main story of Boku no Hero. But even that one, it felt to me very inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. It is tied to the main series, but only in a very superficial way. It still feels like a separate adventure, rather than an important piece to the puzzle which you can't miss. Yes, even the show has filler episodes which contribute little to the story, but in the case of Two Heroes, they actually tried to make it relevant by connecting its main story to All Might's past, and have the main villain also be connected to his greatest foe, All for One. And it seems the same will be the case with this follow-up film coming out next. But it wasn't like those connections served any purpose so far in the main storyline. Maybe they will in the future, who knows, but taking in account that they have been very strict to the manga, and nothing that happened in the movie has been relevant for the story, despite the great involvement of the mangaka, in the end that movie fell victim to the same treatment that other anime show-based movies have. Which of course leads us to the Demon Slayer movie, that not only isn't a self-containing consequential adventure for the show's main protagonists, it actually is a continuation of the main storyline written in the manga, and that is fucking awesome. Not only it is a breath of fresh air, it also is very exciting because it opens up the possibility for more movies that are treated the same way and that aren't disposable but indeed important, whether it's done by Ufotable or other Japanese animation studios. These movies are supposed to be event movies for us, the fans of these shows, and discounting the Broly movie lately, I haven't seen them as such. I don't want to just have a fun time in the theaters for the name recognition alone and the higher quality animation. I want to get fully invested all the way, knowing that what happens in that theater is gonna stay with me for years to come, just like the end of Evangelion or even the Fullmetal Alchemist sequel, The Conqueror of Shambhala. So yeah, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Am I on to something at all? This thought has been lingering in the back of my head for a while, and I'm just happy I've been able to share with you guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Till then, sayonara.